Welcome back to yet another episode of the Modern Multicultural Wedding Show, where we show you how we blend cultures and plan beautiful modern multicultural weddings. Now, I gotta start by saying that today's episode is very near and dear to my heart. Today's couple is actually a friend of mine. The bride and I grew up together. We have been friends at this point for over 20 years. And it was such an honor to be both her wedding planner and bridesmaid for this beautiful, beautiful wedding in Virginia. So I'm really excited about sharing how this all came together and just the whole story moving ahead. But first, I want to introduce myself. My name is Faishala. I'm the owner of Statuesque Events. As you can see, Statuesque Events. We're a wedding and event planning company based in the DC metro area. We're based in Maryland. We do weddings all across the DC metro area, but we also travel. We've done weddings in Connecticut, New York, Florida, Texas, the West Coast, so many other places. And we love producing modern multicultural weddings everywhere that we go. Now here on this channel, we get to show you all of those videos. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, because there's so much more to come. And there's also so much more to binge already that's already been published, and we want to make sure you watch that and you stay inspired as you plan your events. Speaking of planning events, I'm also a coach to wedding and event planners. It's something that I love to do through my coaching program called Planners Who Profit. So if this is something that you're interested in, if you want help, booking these kinds of weddings, stretching yourself and growing in your business, all the information about how to hire us is in the description box. And also, of course, if you want to hire us as your event planner, all that information is in the description box as well. Now let's get back to the video. Like I said, I've been friends with Vanessa for over 20 years. We met in Girl Scouts when we were in the 6th grade. And our families have really been friends ever since. Our mothers became very close, and then subsequently our fathers became very close. So we had a lot of play dates. We just did a lot of stuff together, and it was just a beautiful thing being able to be with Vanessa on her wedding day. Now, I want to also mention that even though, yes, I'm Vanessa's friend, she still interviewed other, wedding and event planners. She told me, she's like, hey, I want to have a consultation with you, and then I'm going to, do my research and have consultations with other people. And I was like, as you should. It's a good thing to do research, and it's a good thing to be sure about what you want to do before moving forward. And a couple weeks later, she came back to me and was like, you know what? I just wanted to do my due diligence, and the truth is that you were the best option for us because we're doing a fusion wedding, and I really don't see anybody else doing fusion weddings the way that you do it. And I would be honored for you to be our wedding planner. So she booked us for our full service package, and we went sailing forward from there. Hi guys, it's June. We're here for a site visit at one of the venues on the water in National Harbor. So we'll see if they like this one. Okay guys, we just finished our site visit, and I found out that I'm also gonna be a bridesmaid. I literally could cry, but I'm so excited. Don't cry. So excited.
I feel like I had to get down on one knee as well.
No getting down on one knee. No getting down on one knee. I was so excited. Oh, thank you.
That's gonna be great.
I can't wait. After about halfway through planning the event, she asked me to be her bridesmaid. And so I didn't know this until after I was already a wedding planner. We're looking at venues and everything, and I was over the moon to be able to do both for her. So it was great. And thanks, of course, to the Statuesque team who pulled through and, helped to manage the day so that I could just be a fun bridesmaid with everybody else. Now, I talked a lot about Vanessa, but we can't skip out on Joe. So Joe Kenga is now Vanessa's husband, then her fiance, and he is from Guam. He's also in the Army. This became a fusion wedding, Nigerian and Guamanian wedding, and it was also a military wedding as well. So we really loved being able to be there for this and just see all the celebration of all the different pieces of everybody involved. And it was just a really fun time. So for starters, let's go through the site visit process. Vanessa and I, of course, met in New Jersey, but she lived in the DC area. She went to college down here. I actually came down to DC to visit her multiple times, including going to Obama's first inauguration. I came down, I stayed with her so that I could attend that, because she was also going to be attending that with her maid of honor. They went, and so I got to know all of them way back. But yeah, Vanessa's from the DC metro area, and Joe also lives here. So they met here, and they knew they wanted to get married here. Granted, most people in their family were not here. Joe's family is back in Guam, and Vanessa's family is back in New Jersey. So this was a huge destination affair, kind of bringing everybody to DC, to the Virginia area for this event, but it was amazing how that all came together. So when it came down to looking for a venue, they wanted a venue with lots of hotels nearby with things to do so that people wouldn't be bored, people wouldn't come down and be bored for the period that they were in town for the wedding. And they wanted people to get a little bit of a feel for this general area, right? Like for the different charms that come with the DC metro area. So we looked at a bunch of venues. We looked at some at the National Harbor. We looked at some in DC proper. We looked at a few different venues, but Joe and Vanessa eventually fell in love with Lansdowne Resort, which is in Leesburg, Virginia. Now, Leesburg is a little outside of DC. It's closer to IAD than the DC airport, but it was beautiful because it's right in Virginia's wine country, right? So it was a great way for people to come out, experience those Virginia wines, and to stay at a resort. So what's better than staying at a resort if you're coming from out of town, because everything's there. There was a lot to experience there. There was a water park, there was pools, like there was just so much to do during your downtime to keep guests entertained. And there was a gym, there were gym classes. I partook in those gym classes during the weekend when I stayed there. They were great. So it was just a lot for guests to take advantage of while they were here. So it made for the perfect space for Joe and Vanessa. They also recently renovated everything. They got married in the summer of 2021. So Lansdowne kind of took the opportunity during the pandemic to renovate a lot of things. So they got to celebrate in a beautiful, newly renovated space, which was great. Another cool thing that I really enjoyed about the planning process at Lansdowne was getting to go for the wine tasting and food tasting. I love wine, I love food, so it was great going to hang out. So I went, Joe and Vanessa went. Joe also brought his best man, Kurt, who's also in the Army, who's also a major. And Vanessa's father also was able to join us. So we had a really good time just tasting the wines, deciding what was going to be served tableside, and just really just experiencing everything before the day. The food was amazing, so I was really looking forward to eating it again during the wedding. But that was a really fun time, and it's something that I always encourage couples to do if you have the opportunity, if the venue offers it, to do a tasting, right? Go down, select what you want. We did actually make a few changes to the menu after tasting some of the options, so it was really cool to just experience that before the day. We also spent some time selecting linens for the wedding, and this is something that is funny because we talk, now Joe and Vanessa and I talk about it now, man, why was it so hard to select linens? Why do we have to have a whole meeting about it? But it was actually really fun going out and selecting the different options for linen. When we got there, we realized that, we definitely wanted something cool and upgraded, but also something that wasn't too loud, right? So we wanted some hints of metallic streaks going in there. So something that wasn't too loud, but that would be super beautiful and just rich to the touch. So eventually we settled on this beautiful metallic linen that actually had a little bit of silver and a little bit of champagne in it. It worked out really well, and it paired really well with the chairs that we selected that day as well from the rental company, which turned out to be these champagne chairs.
Hey everybody, we just picked our linens. We're super excited. No basic linens here, so lots of upgraded linens. Vanessa, how do you feel about your linen?
I feel great. I think it's going to be really beautiful.
And Joe?
If she's happy.
Joe is actually very involved. So Joe is involved in the selection process. Don't believe him. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for being an awesome host.
We have some great linens to pick out for you guys. Can't wait for June 24th.
Woo!
It was just nice to, be able to go out, preview the linens, get to see how everything looks. It was, a full hour-long meeting, looking at everything, looking at the place setting, but it was definitely well spent. And I still love those linens. I love the linens that they selected. They were super cool while not being, too loud or anything like that.
Hey guys, so I'm in Alexandria. We're doing the video shoot for Vanessa and Joe's wedding. So they're getting ready, picking their spots and everything, and this is gonna be so fun. So we have Boo from NVU Films, and he is in charge of video today. So we have a really fun video coming up, stay tuned. So now we're moving to another spot. Getting there.
Now, I normally don't get to show this kind of content when I'm producing the Modern Multicultural Wedding Show, but like I said, I was also a bridesmaid at this wedding. So I got to help plan and attend the Bachelorette weekend, right? So the cool thing about Vanessa's Bachelorette weekend was that we didn't want her to know where she was going. So we all planned where she was going. Her ticket was purchased. Everything was, put together, but she had no idea where she was going. So on the day of our departure, myself and the maid of honor met her at the airport in DC, which was so much fun. She was shocked. We blindfolded her, and then we got her checked in. We walked her to the plane. We got her in the plane, covered her ears with earmuffs, because, of course, there are always announcements in the airport that say, oh, now calling American Airlines to Florida, whatever, and that would ruin the surprise. So she actually wore noise-canceling earphones the whole time to make sure she couldn't hear or see anything. It was kind of funny. Thankfully, it was a nice short flight, and then we landed our destination, which was Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Welcome!
She doesn't know yet.
Come on! Yay! Welcome! I don't know. We don't know where we are.
Oh, maybe we should do the ramp. We can do the ramp? Yeah. Okay, and we're coming back. You are attracting some attention. Yes.
Yeah, everybody's like, what's going on? Hold on. Let me squeeze past.
She doesn't know where she is.
Yeah, she doesn't know.
No idea. She doesn't know his state or anything.
I don't know. Yeah. She knows nothing. I know nothing. Okay, we're walking. We're walking forward. Okay, there's a chair. Okay, we're walking forward. Walking. Okay, you're gonna go.
Let me squeeze past you.
You want to go over here? I know, right? We got her on the plane and everything. Oh my god! Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my god. See him. Oh my god. It's okay. Oh, this is great. So nice. Oh, the weather. Okay, we've got a couple of steps. So,
Step
1,
one.
2, 3. Step up. Good. Okay, step up. Step up. Yep, step up. Good. Step up. Step up. And now step up. Very good. Okay. Is this the moment?
I think it might be.
Okay. Okay, here you go.
There we go.
Take it off. Oh my god!
Woo! Oh, everybody's clapping. Oh my gosh, that's the best.
Where are we?
Where are we?
Miami.
Which beach?
No, this is not Miami.
We're not in Miami.
Which beach?
Which beach? Which state?
I don't know. South Carolina?
South
wow,
Carolina?
Are we at Myrtle Beach?
Nope.
Nope.
Are we
Classier?
Oh, it's much fancier.
Much fancier.
Oh, I thought we were taking pictures.
But we are in South
This is
Carolina.
We are in South Carolina.
Oh my god. I don't know anything other than Charleston.
No, think.
Think about it. Keep thinking.
Okay, name a hotel chain.
Any hotel chain?
Yep.
Hilton Head.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
Which was such a cool idea. None of us had been there before. And of course, it's a super fancy island. There's lots of beaches. There's just so much to do there. And we were really excited getting there. No, it was a great island. There was just a lot to do. We just had a great time and a great time bonding. I definitely recommend Bachelorette trips, especially for your bridesmaids. It's a great way for everybody to get to know each other before the wedding weekend, and to bond and to have a little bit of fun right before the wedding weekend. That was something that I just really enjoyed being a part of and experiencing with Vanessa. Now, another cool thing about Vanessa and Joe's wedding was that they chose to have a traditional wedding back in New Jersey 3 days before the wedding. So that was on a Wednesday evening in New Jersey. We all were there. My parents flew in. Everyone was there. We just got to participate in a lot of cool things, you know, dancing with the couple, spraying them, and just showing them a little bit of love in a very traditional Igbo way. Vanessa is Igbo, Nigerian from the Igbo tribe. So we got to celebrate with her in that way. We all got to wear beads. Joe also came with his family in their traditional Guamanian attire to request the bride's hand, to share a lot of things about their culture, present gifts. It was just a really beautiful night. Most of us ended up crying at some point during that night, but it was just a really beautiful day.
It's kind of like a plate. In Chamorro, we call it platu. So this is made of coconut fronds, or the leaves of the coconut. On Guam, the coconut tree is considered the tree of life. And the reason why that is because every part of the tree is used for some purpose for life. So for example, the fronds here is, the plate is made of the coconut fronds. Joe's head piece is, made of, the coconut fronds as well. So in the basket, we've got a couple of things like your cola nut. What we have, something, and I even tasted the cola nut, and it tasted similar to a nut we have back home called betel nut, B-E-T-E-L, betel nut. So this is the betel nut here.
So after the traditional, we all drove down back to Lansdowne Resort for the welcome party and the rehearsal. Now, at the rehearsal, this was one of the few times that I did not coordinate the rehearsal. I got to be online as a bridesmaid, and one of our amazing coordinators, Adela, led the day and just lined everybody up and, kind of managed what we were going to be doing the next day.
Hi guys, so we just finished the site visit at the Lansdowne, where I will be a bridesmaid and Adela will be in charge. I won't be listening though.
Oh, I'm gonna lock her in a room and throw the keys away until it's time to take pictures.
I'm not listening.
Okay,
I'm
we'll
not
see.
Now, the next day was the wedding day, and we were really excited to finally make it to the wedding day. So there were so many things that made this special. Hair and makeup went perfectly. We also didn't really have to start hair and makeup until around 9 a.m., which was beautiful, being able to sleep in. But because we didn't have too many bridesmaids and because everything was happening on site, we were able to make more time and just take our time waking up the next morning after partying the night before, which was great. We also had a great time just showering Vanessa with a bajillion balloons. Myself and Jessica, who was one of the other bridesmaids, and someone else I met in Girl Scouts along with Vanessa. We blew up a bunch of balloons for Vanessa, and we just had a lot of fun, just kind of like, tossing them around, rolling around in them, and just seeing her get beautified, and just seeing her get beautiful pictures after her hair and makeup on the bed with that. After all this, I wanted to make sure I had some time to show some love to the groomsmen, went over with them, had a couple shots with them, partied with them a little bit before we all went down for the ceremony. Now, setup really actually started the evening before and was all day on the wedding day, so everything was done well ahead of time, well ahead of schedule, and we were just flowing along. So we went down and we were able to do a beautiful first look between Joe and Vanessa. It was just beautiful. I always love first looks, so here's the first look between Joe and Vanessa.
So pretty.
Hey guys, today's the day. Today is the day! Woo! Pineapples!
Okay. Your flower, your bouquet.
Like, what do I do? Joe looking at my camera.
Looking at the camera.
My camera. Got it. I got it.
And after that, it was time for the ceremony.
Practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Joe and Vanessa, there's a quote that says, "A great relationship is about two things. First, appreciating your similarities, and second, respecting the differences." Master Sergeant Pablo Ruiz III. He was not afraid to step up and lead by example, and you have helped carry on his legacy by doing the same. This is not only a good quality for life, but one that will serve you well in marriage. Joe and Vanessa, although they are not here physically, these friends and family members are part of what makes you, you. May we take this moment to remember in our hearts all those who have passed, and may they rest in peace.
One central theme to Vanessa's wedding was about her mom. I mentioned at the very beginning of this video that we met in Girl Scouts, and we met, and her last name and my last name both begin with an O. So when her mother came to pick her up, she saw on the sign-in sheet someone else with a Nigerian last name, you know, right next to her daughters, and called me and said, "Hey, here's my phone number, give it to your mom." So I went home, gave it to my mom called her, and that's how like our whole families became friends as opposed to just the two of us. And that, you know, all of these relationships kind of kept our families tight. A few years ago, unfortunately, Vanessa's mother passed of cancer, and it was an emotional time for everybody. I think even still for me right now. And so just going through this whole process, you know, without Vanessa's mom was hard for her. It was hard for everybody. And, you know, so on the wedding day, it was a mix of emotions of missing her, but also I just feel like somehow we just kind of felt her presence that day. Like there were so many people there to represent her. Her photo was, you know, was used throughout the ceremony. Like there were just so many things that we used to remember her. So, that was a beautiful thing, just to be able to be there with Vanessa and experience, you know, all the emotions and the journey with her. In addition to this, like I mentioned, Joe is in the Army, and Joe also had an honorary groomsman who passed away, right, away at war while serving with Joe, and he was an honorary groomsman. And I really just love the idea of Joe, you know, incorporating an honorary groomsman to be part of it, you know, and just saying, you know, even though he's not here in person, he'll be here in spirit, and he's still going to be my groomsman. So that was something that was amazing on their day as well. So stop with the tears, Faye. I want to talk more about the wedding day. Cocktail hour was amazing, and the guests were guided up the stairs and kind of had like a welcome video showing Vanessa and Joe's save the date video, talking about DC and their love for DC and welcoming their family to the area, which was really cool. And there was really, really good food, drinks, wine, all of that for the guests.
It's always our running joke when we meet new people. So I always like to tell people that we met at church, but the true story is Vanessa and I met online.
Well, we met on a Bumble date.
So when Vanessa and I were chatting about meeting for our first date, she had asked me, "Hey, would you like to go for a date?" And I said yes, and then she was kind of expecting to come to my part of town, when in reality I asked her, I said, "Hey, I'm more than willing to come to your side of town."
I thought it was interesting because he actually wanted to come to my neighborhood. So if you know DC, if you live in certain areas, people just generally don't come. But he came to my neighborhood, and we got dinner at a barbecue place. And when I first walked in, I remember thinking he was very handsome, even though he was shorter than me, and that's usually not my thing. But here we are.
Vanessa is very caring, and caring in a lot of different ways. She's caring about, first, her family and God, and she's also very caring about others around her, whether she's known you for an hour or she's known you for her entire life. She's very caring, and she's also very passionate about what she does. So she never gets into anything or does anything in her life that she's not passionate about.
He's very thoughtful, loves his family a lot, will do a lot for them. He's very responsible, which I appreciate. And he's just very caring. So honestly, when Joe and I first met, my mom has actually recently passed away, and instead of, saying like, oh, this is kind of a lot of emotions happening here, he said, maybe I can just be someone who makes her smile and laugh every once in a while. So
after this, of course, we did a room reveal for Vanessa and Joe so that they could see their beautiful reception space. One of the things that they wanted was to have an estate table for the entire bridal party and their spouses instead of having a sweetheart table for just the two of them. They were like, we want to be surrounded by our people, we want to party. And so that was a central theme for the wedding. There was no sweetheart table, but there was a really long estate table, which was beautiful. Amazing greenery, gold, like it just came together so stunningly. You can see some of the videos here.
See how you guys work.
Now, of course, this was a Nigerian and Guamanian wedding, so we did have to incorporate some culture to the wedding, and we did that in a few different ways. One of the things that we had that day was Guamanian dancers. So Joe actually hired dancers who flew in all the way from Guam to participate in this day. So they did a traditional Guamanian dance, which was so much fun to watch. outfit change where all of the aunts, all of the mothers, all of the friends of Vanessa's mom were wearing matching laces. That's something that we do in Nigeria a lot. And they came in with a photo of Vanessa and they just got to dance in and just celebrate Vanessa's Igbo and Vanessa's Arochukwu heritage. Y'all, we partied. Like, there was champagne, there was a lot of turning up, like there was just a lot going on that evening. We had such a good time and it was just an amazing day. Like, it was an amazing day as a vendor, but it was also an amazing day to be part of. So as you can see, we love blending cultures. We love being able to see, you know, people celebrate who they are and their roots and their family and everything through weddings. And this was something we were able to do in such a fun way for Vanessa and Joe's wedding. So you guys already know, but I love you, Vanessa and Joe. Thank you so much for hiring me as your wedding planner, because you guys already know, even if you didn't hire me, I'd be a guest. I would have been there either way, but it was amazing to be able to be part of the entire process with you. Thank you so much. And I'll catch you guys another day, of course. For all of you guys who've made it to this part of the YouTube video, you are family now. So do me a favor and make sure you subscribe, because there's so much more content coming and there's so much more content that I want you to see and binge, right? There are many other wedding videos like this that you can look through, get inspiration for your own events as well, all right? So I hope that you've enjoyed this rewind and stay tuned for the next video.